I'm Paul Perkins with the check of your ag weather. After seasonal highs this afternoon in the 50s, highs tomorrow warming a little more to the upper 50s to the mid 60s just ahead of a cold front. With that front's passage tomorrow afternoon, northwest winds across the central and eastern part of Nebraska gust to around 30. Sunday, our coolest day of the next week, with highs in the upper 40s to the mid 50s. Strong high pressure building in from the north, increasing those north wind gusts up to 35. Overnight lows dipping into the low to mid 20s for Sunday night for a hard freeze. The mid 60s to the low 70s expected by Tuesday and Wednesday as a ridge of high pressure builds east onto the plains. Rain chances return Wednesday night through Thursday with the approach of low pressure. Daytime highs cooling just slightly to the low to mid 60s on Thursday. Enjoying those mild temperatures before it turns a little cooler in the long-term forecast. Nebraska and Kansas temperatures start seasonal to slightly warmer than normal the mid to late part of next week before a trend of colder than normal temperatures by next weekend through March 28th. During the early days of spring and late March, central Nebraska's daytime highs are typically in the low to mid 50s with average overnight lows in the upper 20s to around 30. Above normal precipitation is predicted for Nebraska and Kansas Wednesday through March 28th, especially the mid to late part of next week. Key weather factors affecting the markets include active and eventually colder weather the rest of this month, a return of rain to Brazil, and excessive rain in parts of Argentina. The threat of severe thunderstorms continues to build southward and gradually diminish. We could still see some unsettled weather linger into Sunday along and near the Gulf Coast. Additional rainfall across the south could total 1 to 3 inches or more, mainly from south central Texas to Georgia. Southwestern snow should linger through the weekend, especially for Arizona and New Mexico. Otherwise, much of the rest of the U.S. experiences dry weather in the next 5 days. A strong cold front crossing the Midwest and Northeast may spark some weekend rain and snow. Cold air behind that front leads to hard freezes early next week as far south as the Central Plains and the Tennessee Valley. Frost possibly extends deep into Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi. For western wheat areas of the southern plains that have missed out on precipitation, there are some good upcoming chances for building soil moisture. Towards the Midwest, the upcoming colder and more active weather means more chances for heavy rain, possibly snow, through at least the end of the month. In Brazil's key crop areas, rainfall becomes more widespread and beneficial for most areas this weekend through next week, along with later next week, rain that is needed for Brazil's second crop corn. Towards the middle of Argentina, rain has been heavy in some areas, but is otherwise favorable for filling corn and soybeans. The rain moves farther north into Argentina this weekend into next week. More rain moves northward through Argentina in the middle of next week, which should be widespread enough to benefit most of the corn and soybeans. With the check of your ag weather, I'm Paul Perkins.